الحمد لله رب العالمين صلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh, and welcome to Islamic OASIS Live. Brothers and sisters, I'm sure all of you are following what's happening in Pakistan, internally in Pakistan itself, and also with Pakistan and Afghanistan situation, and then Afghanistan-India situation. There's a lot of movements taking place. The Taliban foreign minister was in India. He met with Deoband scholars over there, which is very unique in a sense that usually when these meetings happen, they happen, behind the table. This time, the Indian government actually allowed him to openly meet with and also make a big media issue about this and all this. And then on the top of that, while he was visiting India, that night, Pakistan, there was an airstrike in Kabul, Paktika, on both sides now. I think Chaman border is closed, Tulkarm border is closed. You have people who are dying and soldiers, to be honest, Muslims dying on both sides over now the issue of TTP and all of this. So inshallah, to discuss all of this, we found, the best person to speak to was our brother Imran Yousufzai, who is in Pakistan. So he's coming live from Pakistan in Peshawar. So first of all, Brother Imran, Jazakallah khair for coming on for such a, in such a short notice. And I know it's one something at night over there. So again, Allah barak fiqh for taking this time. But these are situations that we need to speak, Sheikh, and things are very hard. People are trying to understand what's happening. And not only that, I think people are sick of seeing what's happening. Not only are they tired, they're sick and tired of what's taking place, not only in Gaza, in Kashmir, in so many other parts of the Muslim world. And now the problem with Gaza didn't even finish. We have this issue going on. Sheikh, before we begin with the topic of Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, I wanted to ask one question, which is to begin with. Many times it looks like the idea is to never allow this ummah to breathe. Don't give them any time so they don't even think about what's happening around them. They're just constantly busy trying to move from one crisis to another crisis. And finding no solutions along the way, and just trying to bandage things. Now I know with the Qatar situation, with this Afghanistan situation, Qatar has recently has done some work to create the ceasefire. So go ahead, Sheikh. What is your take on the question that I'm asking? And also if you can go into the actual events taking place on the ground.
Okay, Akhi, the situation is very unfortunate. Actually, the Ummah has just saw what was happening in Gaza, and even that is not closed. And this issue spiraled out of the control in a very brief time. No one was expecting that. And it seems that it is not a natural occurrence. And there were some forces which were exploiting that, and it went out of the proportion. The issue was till now was being managed through backdoor negotiation, through some covert operation on both sides of the border. But suddenly Pakistan decided to attack on the capital of Afghanistan in Kabul, and that was simply a very big escalation. And there was, of course, certain events happening in just a week or 2 weeks before that. In Pakistan, there were several attacks in the tribal area, and several army officers were being killed. And the issues, and each and every day, more and more officers were being killed. So it seems at specific point of time, the breaking point came, and Pakistan then attacked in the Kabul. But Akhi, I just want to first discuss this issue that it all depends on from which point of time you want to start these episodes. If you start with the episode with Afghanis attacked Pakistani border post, if you start from this point, apparently it is all Afghans' fault. If you start with just one day before, that Pakistan attacked in the Kabul, the things will change. And if you go a little more behind that date, previous dates, and there were series of attacks going on in the tribal area of Pakistan from Afghan side. And then if we go further back, then we can see that this whole tribal area is already in fire because of the Pakistan military operations. Right. So it all depends on from where you start. And I can see the whole Twitter and the social media is full of the analysis where everyone is starting the whole episode from the point where they wish to explain.
Right.
Everyone's saying, so and no one is looking at the bigger picture, the whole picture, this crisis from the roots. In fact, there are people who will say 70 years ago, Afghanistan did not recognize Pakistan in 1947. And there will be people who would be saying that Durand Line was forcefully created. And before that, they would say that Afghanistan conquered Pakistan and Pakistan conquered Afghanistan. They will go back to the Mughal era. So the point is, it all depends on how you start. And so there is no end to these debates. Why? Because it go back and back and back. That is why to discuss this issue, it is important that first we define our criteria. Otherwise, we can share newses. And news are many. Both sides are doing excesses. Both sides are killing each other. Muslims are being killed. Today, just want to mention one episode that has enraged Pakistani public opinion today. And that was an attack in Speen Boldak in a Balochistan area, Pakistan side. And the Afghan army attacked, captured some soldier, slaughtered them, naked them, kicked them. And this is something is unbelievable for the people that fine, we are fighting each other, killing each other. Even this was such a worse thing to happen. And now this line is being crossed, that the Muslim soldiers who are being mutilated, who are being killed, who are being kicked. So this enraged this side of the opinion. But now these video will not be shown in Afghanistan. In Afghanistan, they will be showing some different video where Pakistani army will be killing civilians on the Afghan side. And the fuel is being added to the fire. So I am sitting in Peshawar, sitting in Pakistan, watching the people surrounding me, and I can see that now it has become difficult to even say that, look, they are our Muslim brothers. How can you do this to the people? Saying this is becoming difficult. Such is the level of animosity, such is the level of hate being created within a few days by these two regimes. And I just want to complete my first answer that no side from the two countries are following Islamic etiquettes, Islamic rules, Islamic injunctions. Both sides believe they are the true Islamic warriors. Both sides believe they have Islamic credentials. Taliban obviously do believe that, but Pakistan side believe that it is a fort of Islam, and we are being hated by Indians, Israelis, Americans, and now the Afghanis are joining them. So such is the level of propaganda on both sides that reaching to the truth, reaching to a right conclusion is becoming difficult because of the two regimes who are not following Islam.
Sheikh, now this is very, why such a quick, look, the question regarding the American involvement here, there's a lot of, there's news that this might have started due to American interest in Bagram, wanting that airport or the base, that now it could be that the Americans are re-entering Pakistan, using Pakistan again in order to create this type of fitna in wanting to intervene in what's happening in Afghanistan. On the other hand, Afghans are more than, or the Taliban, Afghan, whatever you want to call them, they are very, it seems to be, they are very open to discussion with the Americans. And they came in power in many ways through the American intervention anyway when it came to Qatar negotiations and all of this. So what is it, Sheikh? Pakistan is pushing this because what is the interest of Pakistan in this, as far as again being utilized by the American interest in the region?
Akhi, I will not go to the Bagram Air Base point now. First, let me explain something organic and natural reason for Pakistan, and then second will be the American interest. First, look at the Pakistani interest. Pakistani want to keep a check on Afghan Taliban because American asked them to do so. That's fine. But the tribal area attacks, this is simply getting out of control. Pakistan find no solution to that. They have been pushing. Now I'm giving you a Pakistani side, okay, how they see things. Of course, the whole story is not true, but just this is the Pakistani side. Daily, there are so many attacks going on. Sometimes the unreported attacks, if you add all, the daily attacks figure go to 7, 8, and 9 attacks per day on Pakistani soldiers. And the TTP has declared that they will not attack any civilian area. So now the attacks only goes against the police and the security forces. And the same situation happened that they come from Afghanistan side. They have a safe sanctuary. They go there, they attack, and they go back. So now Pakistan find no solution to that. They are trying to fight, but there is no way they can fight. And there is no end to this war. Forever. Pakistan cannot finish the tribal militants, and the tribal militant cannot finish Pakistan army. So they are killing each other. But the scale of attack has been on the increase continuously. So Pakistan tried multiple methods. For example, they went to Afghanistan, they talked to them several times, they asked Mullah Hibatullah to issue a fatwa, they pushed the different ministers to stop this. Afghan side issue is that for them, TTP and Afghan Taliban are broadly ideological partner. They're ideologically brothers. Yes, Afghan Taliban tried to portray themselves as separate from TTP, but not ideologically. Just because they're just geographically different, but ideologically they are brothers. And they don't think they can crush TTP, who have a 25,000 to 30,000 strength, and they believe it will become another internal crisis for them because the eastern side of Afghanistan is very largely inhabited by the Waziristani and the tribal militant, which they call TTP. I don't want to actually use the word TTP. This is simply tribal militants. And they are loosely connected, and they are taking revenge actually. And their original idea is not Islam actually, to be very frank. They are not looking for implementing Islam in Pakistan, which they claim. They are actually tribal warlords. They are fiercely independent tribals, and they want the army to leave the tribal area. And they manage it through their own conservative, some Islam, some culture, some tribal values, a mix of that. They want to manage their area by their own code. So they want the Pakistan army to go out. That is their struggle. Even when they negotiate with the Pakistani government, they do not ask, you should be implementing Sharia in Pakistan. That's not actually their demand, except on their press releases. Really, they just want liberating of the tribal area, or the army should go out of the tribal area. That's their demand. And they're fighting for that actually. So actually, it's a Pashtun tribal resistance. That's the true nature of what's going on in the tribal area of Pakistan. It's a Pashtun tribal resistance. And in this issue, the Afghans are with them. They agree to that this area army should not be on our border, putting pressure on us. So let it be with these militants, these tribal warriors, and it should be with them. So they accept this. And they give excuse to Pakistan that we cannot fight them. There are too many, and we cannot create another war within the country because they are just partners with us. They are colleagues. They are our friends. We were one group actually. This whole division of TTP and TTA, Afghan Taliban and Pakistani Taliban, this is broadly just a outsider's perspective. Inside, they are all one. So now,
because of the tribes, is that why? Right? I mean, because they are one Pashtun tribes.
Yeah, the same. That's the reality. They're the same Pashtun tribe, whether they are on Afghan side. Yeah, they're families. If they're on Afghan side, Kunar area, or this area, or Kandahar, or in Pakistani belt, they are all same Pashtun belt. Now you just say they are Afghani and they're Pakistani. This is only a fake division. They just keep this division of our outside people. Why? Because they do not want to associate themselves with the TTP, so that they remain separate and they show themselves as only true Afghan people. But actually they are one. So now they cannot kill their own brothers and they cannot stop them. Now they are attacking Pakistan army, and Pakistan army find no solution. They try to push Afghan government to their best. They try to kick out Afghan Muhajirin. They try to pressurize them. They stop all the crossings sometime, and they have issued fatwas and everything they can, but simply they are clueless. They find no answer. They put all the pressure they can, but they failed. Now they are frustrated actually. So that's first issue, is a real genuine issue for Pakistani state. At this moment of time, I'm not talking about any foreign interest. This is for Pakistani state a genuine issue.
Genuine problem. Genuine issue.
Genuine problem. And they don't find any solution. I personally do have an answer, and I can present that answer. And that is, you should take Islam as ideological. You should make your state ideologically Islamic state, and you can take all the propaganda out of the Taliban. Why? Because you claim to be the Muslim. Taliban say to everyone that this state is a American-backed regime. They nominate Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. They have just given a medal to CENTCOM chief. They are the supporter of Israel. They are supporter of America. This is a puppet regime. So they have a very strong propaganda arm. If Pakistani state, they own Islam, they will be able to isolate some of the militant who are killing their own soldier. They will be able to isolate them from the rest of the tribals. Why? Because the whole narrative of, why are you fighting me? Because you are a puppet. That propaganda will be finished. So if Pakistani state adopt Islam as a ideology, this will kill the whole narrative of the tribal militant, and naturally, in fact, all the sincere will join together. Why? Because now Pakistani state represent Islam. It's no more an American puppet regime. So unless this political solution is adopted, this issue will never be solved. You can only temporarily suppress sometime. It will make a comeback. Exactly like when American took over the Kabul, and at that time the militants were running away here and there. And within 1 year and 1.5 years, they regrouped and they started attacking the Americans. Similarly, if you use overwhelming force against them, you do a lot of operation, you will make them here and there, and they will not be organized, they will be disorganized. But it is, as long as the whole issue remain, the political issue remain, that army is there on American behalf. This narrative is there. They will always find more recruit. They will find a safe haven in Afghanistan, and you can never finish that. So there is no end to this problem, this genuine problem. Now the second angle add to that, and that is the Bagram base. Actually, Pakistan is almost now pushing the Afghan government to give Bagram base. Because when they are under pressure, they will try to ally with the Americans. They will accept American demand so that they can counter Pakistan. In fact, they went to Indians. Why? Pakistan pushed them. It was not their choice.
Let me make sure. So Pakistan pushed Afghanis to go to India?
No, because Pakistan left no space for them.
Oh, okay. So politically, they had no choice.
That's it. Yeah, they had no choice. So they were going to India just to have normal relation. Earlier, the foreign minister went to India and they just had certain agreements, like they are having agreement with multiple countries. in same style they were having some agreement. But Pakistan was expelling all Muhajirin, closing all the routes, creating a problem for Afghans under American dictation. So this pushed in Afghanistan to look for other support. And one of the support they found was India. India was more than willing to support them. And this has further enraged Pakistani establishment. Pakistani military is more enraged. How dare you went to my enemy? So this is the crisis is becoming more and more deeper. But what Pakistan is doing is very unwise. This is actually making TTP and Afghan Taliban one, and this will create the issue much more problematic for them. Till now, you are unable to manage TTP. Now the TTP and Afghan Taliban will become more together openly. So, for example, the attack on Pakistan was ordered by Mullah Yaqub, the defense minister, who said, enough is enough. How dare they attack Kabul? Enough of this. So now I will take revenge. You force them to go full support for Tehreek-e-Taliban in Pakistan. Earlier they were claiming, no, we don't support. TTP is in Pakistan. We are no more supporting them. We are not with them. Their official position was that. But now you are pushing them to openly embrace TTP. This is very unwise strategy. Again, I don't want to go into too much into the analysis portion. My main theme is, at the end of the day, our job is not to look for who is more right and who is more wrong. Both are wrong. No one is following the Islamic injunction. No one is following Islamic teaching. How Afghanistan can go to India? How Pakistan can expel Afghanis? How can they create a propaganda against Afghan there? They are namak haram, the word that is so bad word for them. Yes. And Pakistanis are forgetting that we did 57,800 attacks. 57,800 attacks were done from Pakistani bases over Afghanistan. Attacks from American, this number of attacks were done in Afghanistan from Pakistani bases. How can you destroy a home, and when the person come to you, you say, I am hospitable to you. You destroyed the home of that guy. How can you claim hospitality? So there is a lot of problems now, a lot of misconception now, and some serious minds need to think seriously that at the end of the day, we are all Muslim. We have to push both the parties to Islam only. We can never be happy with the Muslim killing Muslim. We cannot think like nationalist. That's not what Islam allows us.
Sheikh, there is that claim that TTP is being backed by India. I mean, obviously, I was watching a lot of Indian media also on this. And as you said, India is more than happy to create this, increase the fitna, create even more problems. I mean, they are, seems like they're working with the BLA, I think the Balochistan Liberation Army, and then this. Sheikh, I guess a little bit of Urdu here. यानी पाकिस्तान के तरफ भी एक एक सिचुएशन बना हुआ है ना, क्योंकि आपके पास बलूचिस्तान में एक परेशानी लगी हुई है, कश्मीर में एक सिचुएशन बना हुआ है, फिर ये टीटीपी के साथ एक प्रॉब्लम बना हुआ है, फिर ऑन द साइड यू हैव अब अफगान के साथ आप एक शुरू कर दे रहे हैं, फिर इंडिया, देयर वर सम न्यूज़ दैट अक्टूबर नवंबर इंडिया वाज थिंकिंग कि कुछ बॉर्डर्स पे करना है. तो यार इतने जब आपके पास क्राइसिस बन रहे हैं और आप इंटरनली अब आप देखिए ये जो तहरीक ये लब्बैक का जो सिचुएशन चल रहा है लाहौर में, यार आपको ऐसा नहीं, व्हाट आर यू थिंकिंग कि ये बाहर से इतना प्रेशर जो पाकिस्तान पे डाल रहे हैं, यानी कहीं ना कहीं से तो ये प्रेशर आ रहा है, या इंडिया हो या वो अमेरिका हो, या आई डोंट नो द रोल ऑफ चाइना इन दिस, मगर दिस इज सम एंड इट्स वेरी डीप क्राइसिस शेख, और एक नहीं 5-6 क्राइसिस है, और एंड देयर ऑल high level, everybody is armed, everyone is being armed from somewhere, and I guess my question, Sheikh, is that is Pakistan able to handle what you have in Pakistan today as far as the political, I guess, is there political competency to handle this?
Okay. Again, let me. Actually, the state believes that the Afghan crisis in some way is good for us because it built the credentials of the army, and they believe in such an attack, in guerrilla war, we are facing much more losses, but in such type of war, we can create a deterrence for the Afghan, and we have set a precedent that if there's an attack in tribal area, we will attack you in Kabul, actually. So we are setting a precedent, actually. So they are, to some extent, happy.
Pakistan,
yes, the army is happy.
Actually, they were really conventional warfare.
For them, conventional warfare is easy because they are more ready for this. Right. Yeah, Pakistan. Because they believe they have air force, they have high-tech weaponry, which the Afghans do not have. So they can strike them at will. Of course, they are not taking over Afghanistan क्योंकि वो फिर handle करना मुश्किल हो जाएगा. American cannot, NATO cannot. How can we handle Afghan? हम उसको कब्जा नहीं कर सकते. But they are happy कि हमें air strikes का हम precedent example set कर दें. So if there is a strike in, say, Banu in Pakistan, in Waziristan in Pakistan, in Kuram Agency in Pakistan, there's an attack, we will strike them there, and this will create a deterrence for against the attack. This is just like Indian thought that they can do. Indian thought कि अगर पहलगाम अटैक होगा, हम पाकिस्तान में अटैक करेंगे, and we can see there is rarely any attack in Kashmir anymore. Because they have set the standard, despite Pakistan winning the war against India in May, still the standard is set. If there's a big attack in Kashmir, India will retaliate in Pakistan. So they want to set this standard. So that's why actually army might be happy with this. Okay, army is losing in those areas where they are losing public opinion. For example, in Balochistan, the Balochs are very unhappy. And that is the bigger crisis. As far as fighting people is concerned, they are okay with that, as long as the public support them. So in Balochistan, what they are doing, almost every Baloch is against the army. But the people in Punjab and Islamabad and in other provinces, to some extent, support this because they now clearly feel Baloch insurgency is directly raw funded. But the Baloch are unhappy. Baloch are supporting the whole insurgency broadly. There's a widespread support for insurgency. So that's their bigger problem. Now, as far as what happened in Lahore, the TLP case, the Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan protest that was killed, crushed in a very brutal way.
Yeah.
Now,
the Shuhada.
Yeah, and now, as far the public opinion is concerned, people were not happy with the Tehreek-e-Labbaik, actually. They were not having broader support. They were not able to understand why they are doing it now. Why they want to block the road? Why they want to come to the capital at this time? What's the point? When there is a settlement, those are kuch nahi kiya, now the settlement. So you don't see a wider support from the public. Yes, the group that they represent and the Maslak, the school of thought they represent, they were having a good support there. But in a broader urban public opinion, please note my word, urban public opinion, which is more important to create stability for the country, it was not in support of TLP. And that is why the state was able to crush them without much repercussion. And the state again set a standard that this is a modern state, and we will not allow people to come on the street and topple the regime. Don't expect anything like Bangladesh. It is no more, we will not let this. So this create again a precedent for the people that by coming out on the street, you cannot topple the regime. They did this with the PTI, with the more popular party, and they stopped them, they crushed them, and they did not allow them. And the second example is TLP, and they are proving it now that if tomorrow we accept Israel, if we tomorrow do anything, we will be very brutal to you. They are turning into a new Egypt They are turning into a new Jordan. They are turning into a new Syria. And they are trying to portray that we are a hard state. We have been too soft. This is the wording of General Asim Munir, that we have been too soft. We need to be hard. We should not be accepting. Pakistan was generally a bit more open society. There people were expressing too many things, too many protests were common, and they're trying to make it more harder. So you see, you are looking things that 5 types of issues are getting together. It is difficult for them, but the establishment do not see things like that. And as far as the Indian attack is concerned, yes, they do expect that some skirmish, some issue might arise because of the Bihar election. And Modi is a bit down because of the previous war. So he will try to recover something. And that's why they give a lot of coverage to the Afghan FM visit to show that we are now gaining ground again in diplomatic front. So they were trying to get their own election. They're more focused on their own election campaign rather than this. So there is a chance, but the Pakistani regime is not much concerned. They know Indian have not built a new weaponry. They have not built a new system. They need time to counter what we have built in the previous few years, and that is why still we have superiority. So it is more of a threat, but in real, they do not expect this at a much larger scale. They do not expect actually an attack. They're just using it for domestic public opinion to show, don't criticize army because India might attack us. We have to be together with the army. We have to be unified with the army. The nation should support army in whatever we do. So this is just for the domestic public consumption. The last point, how much TTP is backed by India? I personally believe, again, my assessment, that TTP is a very broader organization, loose structure, not a very tight net system. So in such structure, infiltration is always possible. You cannot say, no, there is no influence. But as for control of TTP, funding, weapons, their planning or structure, I believe India has not even 1% influence. India do not have a structure there. The TTP do not welcome them the way Baloch nationalists were welcoming them. TTP hates India. They hate the Indians. They hate the Hindus. They are tribal militant, and they are not willing to work with the Indians the way Baloch nationalists were willing to work with the Indians. They are not willing. So they do not have a big infrastructure here. At maximum, they might have some informants, some links, so that they at least know what's going on. But beyond that, influence on TTP, no, TTP is a genuine phenomenon. At maximum, they have support from Afghan Taliban, Afghan state, but not Indians actually. So that is Pakistani state propaganda rather than a fair reality. Till now, Pakistani state is even never officially accusing TTP of Indian backed, or presenting Indian currency, or presenting Indian weapon, or presenting Indian satellite phone, or Indian SIMs, or anything. They're not presenting TTP. But whenever they capture Baloch nationalists, they do present evidences. Look, they have links with the Indians. But they do not present this. This is only for the strategic communication. The army had got a very good, some strategic communicator, and he has created terminology for them, and they forced all channel to present only one view, no other view, and when it is consistently presented, it create an impact. So Fitnatul Khawarijul Hindustan is the name for TTP. And that is so much repeated that normal average people are now replicating that word. How can we support Khawarij? How can you support Fitnatul Khawarijul Hindustan? There's so much repetition. So they have successfully did strategic communication and presented it in this way. But frankly, even the army don't believe that the TTP is Indian funded. They do believe that Afghans are supporting them. They do believe they are our angry people who are not happy with what we did in the tribal area in the last 23 years. They are not happy with this, and they're taking revenge, and they want the change in the security structure of the tribal area. They know
what does that mean, Sheikh? Change in the structure. Because Pakistan, Waziristan situation is okay. So does that mean the issue of Duran line? I mean, that's one issue, and then you have this whole, what does that mean, Sheikh? Just remove the army from this region, and they want to be Waziristan has been independent for a very long time. I mean, as far as meaning they're autonomous in many ways. They never, this whole thing happened after the American intervention in 9/11, where Americans came in and then they knew that Waziristan was sending a lot of support to the Taliban at that time. They were fighting the Americans and all this. But then I guess Musharraf's intervention in the area that created a new phase that they never experienced this before. Is this what it is that army? Look, Sheikh, one can say, fine, they want to be autonomous. At the same time, Pakistan regime wants control of the area. So how does this? I mean, a state will want control of the area.
The state was earlier controlling this area through an informal arrangement. There was a law which was called FCR, Frontier Crimes Regulation. That was actually very harsher law. That was much harsher than what was happening in Pakistan, but it was designed in such a way that it gives the impression of autonomy and independence. So, for example, there was one political agent who was controlling the whole agency, Khyber, Kurram, Bajod, Waziristan, and all these 6-7 agencies. Each political agent appointed by the state was controlling the region, but he was not, there was no police. He would hold the whole tribe collectively accountable for anything happening from that tribal site. He would collectively punish, but the tribals were being run through their own code. They had a qawm system, yani race system, and every person is recorded, the whole family structure, everything is recorded, and the whole qawm get a share of the revenue and a share in everything. So there was a old system created by the Britishers, which gives a semblance of autonomy, but indirectly it was informally controlled by the state. But the military never intervened. There was no police, there was no military. They created a different type of force from the same tribe who was under that tribal agent. They want the old same autonomy. And in more simplest word, they want the army to go out. Leave the area to us. We will run it the way previously it was being run, and you can have the old style informal arrangement. But actually, it's not the Pakistan army that do not want this. Actually, the American demand that you have to keep a check on the Afghan Taliban. You have to keep them in pressure, in check, so that they do not go beyond the scope that we have defined with them in Doha, and they can never have the bigger ambitions. So you keep them in check and in pressure so that they fulfill the demands of Americans. So Pakistan army is there on the border for this reason. And they're not gonna go out. So this is actually an American plan. And America knew that it will naturally result into a perpetual war that will bleed Pakistan army and thus weaken it against the Indians. Because if a lot of armies engage in this area, this means our eastern border against India will be insecure. We will not be able to handle other crises. So this is one of the way of American through which they want to engage us into internal war. But the security infrastructure simply means army go out. That's what the tribal wants. The tribal militant want actually, which the army is not willing. Why? Because Americans do not allow this.
Yeah, but the Americans, I know the Doha agreement, the Americans truly believe that Taliban may have a broader vision for the region? Or do you also believe that they may actually have a broader a vision for this region itself? Because they're very yes, they're Taliban, yes, they have that Islamic I guess Imarat going on.
Let me explain. I got it. Let me explain. It's a time to criticize a bit Taliban as well, because I criticize Pakistan army and Pakistan's a lot. Let me give the other side. Yeah. To be very honest, in the whole Muslim world, there is a consensus opinion that Taliban, the Mujahid, brave Muslims, fighter who made a graveyard of the three superpower in Afghanistan. Okay, so there is a common perception. That's why there is a very different opinion of the people against what is actual the reality. I can give you a very brief outline. For example, In 1915, Amir Habibullah Khan, he refused to support the Muslims of India against the English. He refused to support. He refused to support Khilafat Osmania in Balkan War, actually. The Afghan king. Okay. Then Amir Amanullah Khan, and he had an agreement with the Britisher that his foreign policy will be controlled by the Britisher, actually. Then in 1919, Amir Amanullah Khan took over in Afghanistan. He broke the agreement. He fought with the English and then did a deal that my foreign policy will be independent, but still I will be aligned with you guys. And when the Khilafah was finished in Turkey, the ulama gathered and there was a big jarga under the leadership of Mullah Turkestani, and he asked Amanullah that the only liberated land in the world is this Afghanistan, and you should become Caliph of Muslims. And the whole Muslim is willing to give you bay'ah. And he refused. And he said, I'm not going to take responsibility of anyone else. He was actually like Ataturk. He was a secular guy. And at the end, he made so many so-called modern reform that a Bacha Saka, a famous, an illiterate guy who led the people and killed the Amanullah in 1929, 1930. Then one of his cousin came, Nadir Shah, and he took over again the Afghanistan. And then after 3 years, Zahir Shah took over. And from that time, from more than a century, Afghans refused to take the responsibility of the Ummah. So yes, they are tribal, conservative, independent people. That's a true description. We cannot deny that. They are tribal, independent, tribal people, conservative people, but properly aware about Islam? No. Have a clear idea of Islamic structure? No. The clear Islamic political system? No. Islamic economic system? No. At this time, just check on the internet. What is the interest rate of monetary policy of Afghanistan? And you can see the interest rate.
Yeah, which is very interesting.
Just check what is the corporate rate tax rate in Afghanistan. What is the GST tax rate in Afghanistan? What is the custom tax rate in Afghanistan? What is the income tax rate in Afghanistan? And you can find all the capitalist measure there in Afghanistan. Yes, since this is a informal economy, so many people don't interact with bank, they don't take loans. That's why you don't see the interest in the society commonly. But as far as the structure is concerned, it's the old structure. It's the old structure, the old system. The Islamic punishments are not implemented. Islamic economic system is not there. Islamic foreign policy is not there. And I will say, Mr. Cherry Blossom, the Shehbaz Sharif, who was doing praising the Trump just 2 days ago, even he did more condemnation of Israel than what Amir Haibatullah Khan did.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's very, very surprising, Sheikh. But let me ask you, even because there's that question also regarding, these descriptions that has been given to Afghanistan. Sheikh, could the Afghanis actually fight these empires without the help of Pakistan? That's a big deal. There's a huge role of Pakistan.
No, I will disagree with you here. Okay. Actually, they fought the empire despite the Pakistan support to the empires.
To the empire.
In the first case, in the Russian case, it was true that it was Pakistan support was there, American support was there, but it was the people actually. But in the second case, there was no double game going on. Double game was going on with our own army and with the people of Pakistan. Actually, Pakistan was giving all the support and then building a weak alternate opposition through militant support, so that who can make a deal in Doha with the Americans actually. So it's like a good cop, bad cop. Pakistan tried to become good cop, but actually it was the part of the bad cop. So it was giving small weapons to the militant. But my simple question is that what Afghans actually needed was a few stingers to expel our Americans in the first, second and third year. They just needed a few anti-aircraft missiles. And the whole war would finish in 2 years. Why it took 20 years? Because Pakistan was giving those weapons which were unable to defeat Americans and giving impression that actually we are supporting Afghans and we are supporting Taliban and we are doing double game. But there was no double game going on. The whole NATO supply was going on through Pakistan.
Yeah,
Pakistan was selling. Yeah, so basically Pakistan was giving on intelligence. Pakistan was actually capturing all intellectual jihadists, and they were only giving support to the common illiterate foot soldier who do not have a bigger vision, who were pure nationalists, normal fighters, tribal fighters. They were giving support to those people so that they can show that they are actually supporting the jihad. Actually, they were not supporting jihad. So it was only a game going on with the people of Pakistan, with the army and the Muslims. It was no double game. So Afghans did defeat it despite Pakistan's support. That's correct. We should recognize this. And this is primarily one reason, and that is tawakkul in Allah. We will fight, we will all be killed, but we will not surrender. And this basically frustrate American effort. When they were unable to counter China, and they tried to focus on China, but they were unable, so they then withdrew. It was not that Americans were defeated, it was a stalemate. Neither American defeated Taliban, nor Taliban defeated Americans actually. But the American priority changed, so they were looking for a way out to go out of this area so that they can focus on. They were closing all the files. For example, they closed the Lebanon file, they closed the Iraqi file, they closed the Syrian file. Similarly, they closed the Afghan file so that they can focus on the Chinese. So that was their interest. But yes, Afghan did not surrender, and that was the success. They did not succumb to pressure. That was the success. It was not that they defeated American, but they did not surrender. That's a success. Exactly like for 70 years, we did not surrender our Baitul Maqdis, and one day we gathered our force, Salahuddin came and he liberated Baitul Maqdis. But if I sign Oslo Accord, if I sign another agreements, then my game is over. So their strength was not surrendering actually. But they are very good mujahid, true. Their geography support them, true. They are fiercely independent, true. They are brave, true. But they are very strong, aware, intellectual Muslim. No, that's not true. That is why they are misused. They are used and abused. Their Islamic emotions is used actually. They are still very strong nationalist. Very strong nationalist. This feeling is there in them. Okay, they have no idea of the system.
Nationalists by the Taliban are nationalists, or the people of Afghanistan are nationalists?
People of Afghanistan. Taliban try to adjust to some extent to Islamic emotions, but they have to respond to the Afghan emotion as well. So they are claiming that Durand line is not fine. Okay, then whole Pakistan should be yours, and I should claim the whole Afghanistan. Why only an area that nationalists claim? Till Attak or till Jhelum is our land. Why till Attak and Jhelum? The whole Muslim world is yours. Why don't you claim all? So you are following nationalistic themes rather than Islamic themes actually. You are using Pashtun themes rather than Islamic themes. So they are not very aware Muslim in that sense. But yes, this is true that since being they are very pure people are there in Afghans. That is why those who are culturally aware are very strong. In our lands, there is a modernist Islam mixture is there. Very sincere people are corrupted by some of the Western thought, and they are less affected by Western thought. So the strength of Afghan is that those who are aware, they are very genuine and very high quality Muslim. But in our land, in Pakistan, in India, in the Arab world, there is a modernist Islam is there. So very pure people are still corrupted by Islamic democracy. Freedom of speech within limits. With these compromise concepts, they are corrupted actually. So Afghans are still saved from this problem. But again, if we say they are true ideological group and that is actually standing for Islam, so again, that is not true. The way exactly Pakistanis are not representing Islam.
True. And one of the things that you mentioned, Sheikh, is that Haibatullah did not say a word regarding the Israeli situation in Pakistan. Leadership probably said more than the Afghan. Why do you think that is, Sheikh? This is, fine. They may not be able to do something regarding the situation, but at least lip service, not even lip service.
Okay, I would say they can do actually. Let's not say they cannot do. I will not start with this assumption actually, but still, let's take your point of view. And he did not say anything. Why? Because they are overly committed to Doha Accord actually. Americans are not committed to that. Whatever they agreed, they did not fulfill. But they are so much into their ahd and their promises that they are not violating anything to the kuffar, even leaving Islamic obligations. So that is very seriously problematic thing. Why you just and as for they cannot do anything? How they cannot do anything? Why just they didn't just declare to Pakistan army, come place your missile in Afghanistan, your missile can reach the Israelis. Just put pressure on them. Why don't you activate Deoband in Pakistan who were listening to you, that activate people for the support of Gaza and force Pakistan army? Why don't you declare and openly claim that we are going to defend Kashmir for you? We are going to liberate Kashmir. Come join us. Let's go together for Kashmir. Let's go together for Gaza. Put them in, maybe basically expose these corrupt people. Now the Afghanis are, and in all press releases are clearly saying that Pakistan is not our enemy. There's a faction of the army that is actually against us, and they may basically means quotes unquote Punjabi establishment. So now they are using this word in official press releases. When it comes, when you are facing problem, you have got open. You are now openly say Punjabi establishment in Pakistan army is problem for us. We are not against Pakistan. Why don't you say the same? There are some pro-American corrupt people in Pakistan army, and we and the rest of the Pakistan army and people of Pakistan and Afghanistan should get together to liberate Kashmir, should get together and liberate Gaza. Let's get together, put them at point blank, expose them. You can't you do that even? It will put a lot of pressure on the Pakistani regime. They will be exposed. But they're not doing that. They are completely silent. They do not want to antagonize Americans. They do not want to make them unhappy. They are not.
Why, Sheikh? Because they're thinking, because of Doha agreements, I understand that. But also, they're worried that the Americans may return to Afghanistan. Even with the Doha agreement and all of this, Americans are still demanding Bagram. So and then they could use.
No. They're not fearing the return of Americans. They're not fearing that. Actually, they know they cannot actually. Their fear is America will completely isolate them, which they have. Americans have already done that.
Right.
America has actually delegated this, outsourced this project to Pakistanis. It's your job to handle them, to keep them in check. The way America outsourced Syria to Turkey, in the same way America has outsourced Afghanistan to Pakistan actually. But they are looking for recognition, legitimacy, and pleasing American, Russian, Chinese, so that somehow, if by doing some little things we can please them and we get some legitimacy, we show our credential that we are now acha bacha, we don't do anything wrong, we are in control. We even look at such a huge crisis of Gaza, and we keep our people in control. We do not let them get out of control. Look, even Shehbaz Sharif cannot do that. What we did. We do not. There was no big protest going on about Gaza and Afghanistan. So look, we are so much in control. Trust us. We can keep the Afghanis in control. Give us legitimacy. So they are looking for legitimacy from this corrupt international order. And that's their biggest blunder. America knew it. America is using that. America is not letting it happen. America is showing them, honey, okay, do more. Give us more proofs. Okay, give some more women rights. Give some more this. And maybe we think about that. The way the European did with the Turkish. For 50 years, they were showing that you may join EU if you give women this right, if you give this liberal right, if you give this rights. They were showing them this lollipop. One day you might become part of the Europe. In the same way, America is using this legitimacy card to force them to behave in a certain way.
Sheikh, so to know so this, Qatar, obviously, it seems like has come in and to create this ceasefire. But according to what you're saying, there is no. Then what is the solution to this crisis? As far as dealing with TTP, this is the first time I'm hearing from you, which is you're saying that this is actually a tribal matter, has nothing to do even with. They're not even demanding serious Islamic law or anything inside the country. Is this more of a tribal issue? They're fierce, autonomous, tribal, warlords who want to stay independent. But this, where do we go from there, Sheikh? And Pakistan, okay, let me can Pakistan will pull out from Waziristan situation, the army? And if it does, I mean, that's one solution. Or are they worried that if they do pull out, Taliban will use this to... What will happen? Any border between Taliban and or the Waziristan and Afghanistan situation might be raised? Is this... What's the fear, Sheikh?
Akhi, look, in current system, the problem is not there. At the moment, there is actually no solution. The war will go on. You can crush them for some time. You can push them back.
Right.
But there is a whole state where you cannot enter freely. You can sometimes strike them. In fact, Pakistan sent some of their intelligence operatives to kill some of the leaders, and they did kill some of the leaders of the TTP. But till this day, let me give you a very brief idea. Till this day, we kill 6 TTP chief.
Right, drone
There is no change. Okay, through drone attacks or 2 other ways.
Yeah.
6 TTP chief are killed, no change. Till this day, 18 4-star generals from Musharraf time till this day, they promised they will kill all the militants. And now most of them have died actually. These generals. Till this day, more than 100 3-star general tried their luck. The situation is now worse. Till this day, more than 500 1-star and 2-star brigadier and major generals tried their luck. The situation is still there. We picked up more than 100,000 people and made them missing. The situation is same. Actually, it's worse.
Wow.
So we have broken the back of terrorism some 25 times. Okay. It's still the same. We have done some 12 major operation. If we include minor operation, it will be some 100. And if we include intelligence-based operation, they call it IBO, intelligence-based operation, it will run into thousands. The situation is same. Why? Because you are fighting people. You're not fighting a small group. And the latest press conference by the ISPR chief, who say the facilitators are the problem and anyone who is not reporting them will be considered terrorist. Basically, he say there is no collateral damage. Why? Because anyone who is killed indirectly is the facilitator or supporter or sympathizer. So we do not accept this claim that there's a collateral damage. If we attack a house and women are killed, why these women allow their husband or father or brother to be there when they are terrorists? Imagine the level where the army has reached. They are fighting people. It's a political issue. And you are solving the political issue through the barrel of the gun. Gun might be used, but in a very rare cases, once you isolate such people, how can you isolate such people? If you are giving medal to CENTCOM chief, if you are praising Mr. Trump, who killed actually more than 500,000 people, but the official figure are 70,000.
Yeah, 680,000, I think, so-called.
Yeah. So the point is, how can you take the narrative back into your control when they say they are American puppets? So the solution does not lie in the hills and the border area of the Pakistan and Afghanistan. Solution lies in Rawalpindi and Islamabad. If the policies change from this place, things will automatically change. Imagine the moment we start fighting India, the tribal belt, all attacks stopped. Why? Because they feel they are doing a good thing. How can we stab them in the back? In fact, I remember one of the TTP chief, Hakimullah Masood, once Pakistan started fight with India, he said, my whole militant are ready to fight with the army. Although the army was killing the militant at that time. And he said, no, I'm okay with that. So the point is, this is actually a war of narrative, ideological war. The problem lies in the roots of the state. The ideological root of the state, it's a secular state. Unless you claim Islam, you will automatically win over these tribal people. If you cut relationship with Americans, you will win over the tribal people. You will not find any sympathizer. Now, anyone who is attacking the army is a fasadi now. People will kill them. You don't need to kill them. People will isolate and kill them once they know The state is stand by the right, by the haq, and they are now doing the zulm. But at this moment of time, the whole tribal hate army. They hate army. Their famous slogan raised by the political party in the tribal area is, "ये जो दहशतगर्दी है, इसके पीछे वर्दी है." Ye colonel, general, dehshatgard. That's the slogan being raised in the tribal area. In such a public opinion, how can you fight? So there is actually no end to these things. There will be temporary ups and downs because of the pressure, because of sometime this and that. There'll be ups and downs, but in the long run, the problem will remain unless problem is resolved in Islamabad by the change of state, change of policies of the state taking Islam as a ideological source and changing its policy and claiming the crown of Islam. They become the champion of Islam. That's the only way.
Is this possible in Pakistan?
It's only possible. And this is the only destiny. This is the only way out. Otherwise, this is not happening for the last 25 years.
I mean, someone can say, but look, I'm coming to more on the Pakistan side now. I mean, of course, the solution lies in Pakistan. But Sheikh, I mean, with the situation in Pakistan, I mean, with the Tehreek Labbaik response to Tehreek Labbaik, 200 some shuhada, thousands injured, all of this. The way the state is crushing any protest, any demand for change, anything, I think they were asking, they were going to march on the American embassy actually in Islamabad, it seems like. And then I from what I understand, even when this 20 points that were presented by Trump in that negotiation, Pakistan has already accepted the state of Israel. If not, they probably accepted the state of Israel in the 80s already. But with so much sheikh pressure and demand, control, army being so tough, and you're saying that army, there could be change from that army?
Yeah, that's true. Actually, the way the army and the leadership is putting pressure, and it is creating a lot of resentment inside as well. Sometimes some of their operations become popular when the Afghans react in a very harsh way, and then there is a support for the army leadership that they are doing right thing. But this is not always the case. Many times the army officers feel that what is being done is we are killing our own people and they are killing us. They are not satisfied with this. Many of the top commanders do not send their sons as army officer to these tribal area. They try to save their sons from that area. So there is a problem inside as well. The solution, look, your argument was that the state is very getting tough and it is not letting.
They started shooting.
Yeah. And I do not believe from the very first day that the people can topple the regime. It never happened, actually. It never happened. Neither in Egypt, nor in Bangladesh, nor in the Syria. It never happened. If you are going to change the structure and the system of the state, it's not happening. You are only changing the face. And that's why sometimes the people are being led to change the face, the way it happened in Bangladesh. Even in the Iranian case. Even in the Iranian case.
In the case of popular, popular protests. I mean, most of these, what you saw in Bangladesh and what you saw in Nepal, for instance, and what you saw in Syria and other places, just been change of face and nothing more. So you're saying if people come on to protest, this is just a face change.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I was reading one of the message of the TLP, the Tehreek Labbaik leadership message, and they wrote very clearly to their own senior leadership that we had an agreement with the establishment that we will only force the government, not the military, the government to do this or that, and military gave us a go ahead, and then they later on crushed us and we were being cheated. So when they even move, when the bigger people in bigger number move, it's often with their consent. So the larger number cannot move unless there is a signal from that side that show that you are being indirectly controlled, and all the protest that you show to the people is just a facade. and it is not a real thing going on to really change the system. So you are still being used by the people of power actually. The point is, people do not have the power to change the system. The real powerful people sometimes let this happen if the resentment is very high. They let this happen to change the face and change some of the apparent policies so that people are content and the system get a new lease of life with the new face actually. If you have to change the system, you have to win over some people of power. The state can be as harsh as possible. That doesn't matter, because you are not bringing change through the unarmed common people. You are now going to bring change through convincing some people of power who are part of the entourage, who are part of the regime, but they are unhappy with what is going on. You have to find some of such people, whether at the top or at the lower rank. At the top, you need less number. If the lower level, you need more numbers to bring a stable and a smooth change. That is what is required. Getting a lot of people with you and then going onto the street will never bring the system change. It may, in some cases, can change the face or some apparent policies, but this is the way out. So even if the state get as tough as possible, whether in Egypt or in Syria or in Pakistan, wherever they want to get tough, this does not make the change difficult. Why? Because the power still lies with those people of power. And if some of them join the people's side, join what the people desire, join what the Islam say, they can bring the change. No one can stop them.
But can't someone say, Sheikh, that even the army, within the army itself or inside the army, they would look for signs that there is this popular and public opinion for change? Because, coup d'etats, because I'm asking questions that are very common amongst the public, that if the army or those who you're saying could bring the change, and people of power and strength, or Ahlul Hali wal Aqd, what is known as Ahlul Hali wal Aqd, if they don't see that popular support from amongst the masses, they're taking that chance itself means death for them.
Yeah, that's true, but they are not naive and simple people that who do not understand what's the pulse on the street. They have very good understanding of the pulse of the people, what the people feel. There are thousands of different way of expression of the public opinion actually. So the expression is there. Sometimes it comes out through a big number of people coming on the street. Sometimes the whole social media is abuzz with certain things. Sometimes they can see in their own homes that people are weeping at the pictures of Gaza and they want something to be done and they are frustrated. So every sensible person can feel the emotion of the people. Yes, the state tried to depict a different picture through the mainstream media, but that is already too much undermined in our countries. People have simply not watching any channel. They just watch their friends and circles on the social media and get a guess of what is going on and what people think and feel. That is why they're trying to now micromanage social media. They are picking up people who have big influence, are big supporters, are big followers, and they're pressurizing them. And they have used the terminology, we are updating software of these people who are writing something which they are not happy with. They say, we picked up the person and we updated their software. But still, social media has hundreds of thousands of citizen journalists. How can you stop everyone from expressing their opinion? People are very creative. For example, they stopped the using of the word Imran Khan on the social media, on the mainstream media. People started to use Kedi number 804, the prisoner number 804. And that was the popular word. Every day there's a trend on prisoner number 804. So they use different words. One of the Pakistani politicians called it, for the establishment, Munne ka Abba. From one of the famous joke, he used the word Munne ka Abba. And now people say, and Munne ka Abba did this. or sometimes they say those who cannot be named. So people will be creative. They will express their feeling, and the feeling will reach to these people. But I'm not saying you should not be protesting. My point is, it is not the a must requirement that without huge number of protests, simply the change is impossible because they will be risking. And might be in the area where you guys are living in the Western world, you might not get the direct sensation of what the people are feeling here. Yes, there are Muslims, they feel the same way, broader, they are linked to the Ummah, but naturally in the Muslim society, the feel is different.
Sure.
The discussion is different. So they are living here. They can sense everywhere in their own homes, in their own sons and daughters. Even the most liberal media in Pakistan, most liberal people are openly supporting Gaza. They are hating Israel and they want Pakistan army to move. The Pakistani liberal want this. The Pakistani secular want this. The Pakistani human rights activists want this. There is no one left in Pakistan who say Hamas did wrong. No one can dare to say this word actually. That's the level.
I mean, with this much, if there is this much support, and for what, and obviously people are seeing the killing and all this, but I mean, but no one moves, Sheikh, in Pakistan. Nothing. There was so much work that was done to create a momentum for Pakistan army to move and things like this, but I guess this is where the people kind of lose hope, is that no matter what happened, 2 years of genocide and no one moved. And so now, I mean, so why take a chance? This is just, I mean, this is the last question to you. So, I mean, but again, you are in Pakistan, you're on the ground, you can, obviously you have a better assessment than me, but even with 500,000 people killed, Sheikh, no response from anyone in the Muslim army.
That's true. That's true. And that's unfortunate. But actually, those who are on the ground, they can see that there was a widespread support, but for mobilization of the army, a very practical plan need to be executed by a certain number of people, by removing the regime, by mobilizing the army. And there were loopholes in the plan. Sometimes there was lack of iman. There was sometimes fear factor. There was sometimes some other things which contributed to this. And actually, there are only apparent causes. The real cause is Allah has not decided as yet. Look, akhi, when Allah want to make things happen, at that time, all the apparent things get in line. Everything is at sync. All our flaws and weaknesses, Allah cover them. The way when the Prophet ﷺ was doing hijrah from Makkah to Medina, the plane failed 3 times actually. And Allah covered that. If we look at the human effort and human weaknesses, when the Prophet was going out of the home, they have already encircled that. And they planned to kill the Prophet ﷺ. And that failed. And we know how it failed. It was actually a mu'jiza. It was not something that was through human effort. When they went to Ghar Sor, the cave of Sor, and they were there for 3 days, so that all the search is finished, and they reached there. And again, if I say the word, the game was over. All the plan was over. Because they were there to kill. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved them through that insect who created all this web. And they were unable to go inside. They say they can't be there. And when they were moving to Medina, on the way, Suraka bin Malik reached there. And the plane, again in common sense words, the game was over. And Allah saved the plan. So if just imagine the prophetic human wisdom plan actually failed. It was the Allah's support that make it happen. So that shows that despite our best effort, when we are trying to mobilize the people so that they mobilize the army, we try to push them for a practical plan, and things do not happen, we never despair. Why? Because there is an ayah in the Quran, and I just read it today again. I would use the meaning of the translation of the Quran. that those who think that Allah will not support them, they should tie a rope to the sky and hang themselves, and something like that. The point is, death is better for them than losing hope from Allah. So we don't lose hope from Allah. Whatever happened to us, they are martyr. We struggled. We are doing our best. We checked again. Is it the correct method we are working? Yes, we are doing the correct method. We will work again. One day we will be gone as well. And we are successful. Our next generation will do it. The generation Z will do it. The generation Alpha will do it. The generation next will do it. We will never surrender. We will never stop. When the time comes, Allah will make it happen. All our weakness will be covered and things will be okay.
Inshallah, with that, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, وَلَا تَهِنُوا وَلَا تَحْزَنُوا وَأَنْتُمُ الْأَعْلَوْنَ إِن كُنتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. Jazakallah khair, Sheikh, for being here so quickly in such a short time notice. And I think it's 2:30 now there. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you and protect you, Sheikh. But we'll be coming back to you, Sheikh, and hoping that, inshallah, this situation in Pakistan, between the brothers in Afghanistan and Pakistan, it actually, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala remove those who are creating the fitna and hypocrisy, Sheikh, and unite this ummah, and unite the hearts of this ummah, and bring the people that will not only bring peace and justice to Pakistan and Afghanistan, but also to Gaza, inshallah, Rabbil Alameen, and to Kashmir and all the lands that are suffering. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.
Jazakallah khair.